Andrew requested me on Patreon to review the Disney Channel original movie Camp Rock. This was made when a lot of Disney Channel productions were focused on teenagers who were into performing music, possibly brought on by the success of High School Musical and Hannah Montana. This time it's about this summer camp for aspiring young rock stars. So what do I think of Camp Rock? While ultimately harmless, I thought the plot took some unusual turns. The main character is a girl named Mitchie who attends this summer camp with her mother as the cook, but she decides to hide this from everyone and makes up her story. Because nobody would find it impressive that she's related to the person making the amazing hamburgers they eat for lunch. I personally felt her telling this made-up story about her mother being a powerful music company executive was really not necessary. She does this to impress this snooty girl Tess and her friend group she wants to be a part of. But why? She's clearly a snooty girl who's not nice to her and bosses everyone around. It'd be one thing if she had trouble making friends at the camp, but Alison Stoner's character Kaylin is immediately friendly with Mitchie. Just hang out with her. Tess even rolls her eyes at Mitchie's father owning a hardware store. Imagine having a problem with someone running their own business that sells necessary goods to people. I get the movie is trying to convey a message about class, what with this being a camp mostly attended by rich teens, and Mitchie being unnecessarily embarrassed by that. But I don't think it did it very well. I feel a stronger message might have been about recognizing who your real friends are. Regarding Mitchie, I did not think she was the most interesting protagonist. Her main personality is wanting to fit in and being embarrassed by her mother, which she should not be. Although when a lot of the camp turns against Mitchie, largely because of the actions of Tess, I did admittedly feel bad for her. I really liked Mitchie's mother, played by Maria Canals-Barrera. She's shown to be a really good and supportive mother, and definitely not someone to be embarrassed by. Canals-Barrera is most well known for playing Mrs. Russo on Wizards of Waverly Place, and apparently the role of Mitchie in Camp Rock was offered to Selena Gomez, but she turned the role down, and it went to her friend Demi Lovato. However, Canals-Barrera is not just playing Mrs. Russo again and brings a different motherly affection to Mrs. Torres. As for Tess, the snooty girl, she might be one of the most unlikable antagonists I've seen in a DCOM. She constantly treats others horribly, bosses everyone around, and frequently sabotages others, and yet somehow gets little punishment for it from the person who runs the camp. And again, Mitchie could just go hang out with Kaylin instead. Despite being a pretty terrible person through the entire film, the ending tries to make her sympathetic and have her suddenly be nice, but it's so unearned. A big selling point in the movie was the involvement of the Jonas Brothers. Because they're so prominent on the poster and DVD cover, I long thought Camp Rock was about all three of them being part of the camp and hang out with Demi Lovato's character. That is not quite the case, as only Joe Jonas has a prominent role. He gets his own subplot, which I don't mind, and even found a bit more interesting than the main one with Mitchie. They do this thing of him hearing Mitchie sing without seeing her, and tries to figure out who she is, and this does lead to an amusing Cinderella montage of all the girls in the camp singing to him. I'm aware the soundtrack was a massive hit, and these songs probably resonate a lot with the people with a fondness for Camp Rock. However, hearing a lot of these songs for the first time, none of them did anything for me. They all fall into the cookie-cutter rock sound, and I doubt they will ever stick with me. There's even one unintentionally funny moment where Caitlin performs one of her musical pieces, and even though it sounds like rejected Sega video game music, everyone is acting like they're really into it.
She's really good.
Camp Rock cannot overcome cheesy moments like that and the way the characters are handled with contrived conflicts and other issues. But like I said, it's harmless enough, and I cannot say I was ever annoyed while watching the movie. The whole production felt it was specifically made for theater kids to see themselves in these musical youngsters hang out with other teens with a love for performing. One of the writers was even Julie Brown, a singer who made a name as a performer in the 80s, although I most know her as the voice of Minerva Mink on Animaniacs, as well as voicing an animal version of herself on Tiny Toon Adventures. Despite my underwhelming reaction to Camp Rock, I do understand why it resonated with those who watched it at a young age and continue to have fond memories of the movie. Now, if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for the request, Andrew.